Okay, we are recording. All right, so we're on the related page for Mr. Radcliffe. Everything you ever want to know that Mr. Radcliffe's done in the auxiliary is going to be here. This is where you'll see what competencies he has and what's the status is, whether certified or REYR. This is all the member tasks that are associated with competencies. Could be classes, workshops, etc. Awards, and boom, this is what we're looking for: facility ownership. If you hover your mouse over the facility tab or number, you get a little pop-up. So it's a Huntington Harbor fixed gear, November 2235 Victor. I'm guessing it's a Cessna 172.
That is the 172.
Okay. So when we click on that, we're going to go into more detail on that page. Just to back up for 2 seconds for the recording, to get here or to get to this facility record, you can type in this number. Every record in AUXDATA 2 starts with a letter or a couple of letters, and then there's a number. And the number won't mean anything to you, but it is the clickable link for this facility. So that's one thing you could type into the search bar and find the facility that way. We can do it like we did in the beginning, which was using the member's name and then coming here to this related page, scrolling down, finding the facility. Or we could type in the registration if we knew it of the actual facility, whether it be an aircraft, boat, or radio. Okay, so we're going to click on the facility itself. Now we are on the facility page. November 2235 Victor, fixed gear, yes, Cessna 172 Sierra Papa, SP 2000, glass cockpit. I've never seen a glass cockpit Cessna. That's cool.
You got to see one if you haven't. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was a pilot for 35 years, but I've never seen a glass. So I haven't been in a 172 in a long time. Anyway, okay. So all the information that AUXDATA 2 has on your facility, which migrated over from legacy AUXDATA. So anything that was in the old system should have migrated over. Anything that you see here that's you need to change or is different. This is one quirk with the system. Once it's in a facility and has a facility number, you see all these little pencil icons, but it won't let you edit and save any changes. For example, if you wanted to change the location or range or anything, you're going to have to submit a request to Dyrox, basically. William Shakespeare is the facility management volunteer up there, and he will actually make the changes, or I can make the changes for you. But that's just a kind of a side note. But what we're going to look at, the way to get this process going, you can see the status is non-operational. You really want to pay attention to what the status is here. Last reinspection was in May of 19, and so it expired in June 2020. We have to look at this facility inspections box over here. You have the approved one from 2019 and no new one. So guess what? New is the button that we're going to click, okay, to initiate a new inspection for this aircraft facility. So Eric, I'm going to do this for you.
I'd appreciate that.
For the others on the call, if you are either talking an owner through this process, you can do that, or you can do it for them if they don't have AUXDATA 2 access. For example, they do have an aircraft, you want to get it in the system, you can do it for them.
Yeah, after your meeting here, I'm going to probably sit down with Mike Domino and go over this, how to get in, get it scheduled myself. But for now, I do appreciate if you do put me on the schedule. So
yeah, well, I'm happy to help you out, but it's also a great example because we're not just hypothetical here. This is actually we're really doing it. So I'm going to click the new button, and that's how we start a re-inspection. Now, I'll pause here for 2 seconds. If it's a brand new offer for use, and either of the Davids or Gary, do you know of any aircraft brand new offer for uses that are in the works or will be shortly?
Yeah, this is David. My aircraft is brand new in the works.
Oh, okay, very good. So when we finish with this facility inspection process, which is for a re-inspection, I'm going to go in and show you how you set up a brand new OFU. Once you get to the facility inspection part, which you'll obviously need to do, whether it's new or not, it's the same. But to get to the facility inspection, obviously you don't have a facility yet, you've got to do the OFU. You should have this 7005 form. Even though we're doing it in the system now, you still need the paper form. You need to fill it out completely. There's signatures that are required, and it also scanned copy is going to go into the record. Okay, so we're still using that. All right, so here we are on new facility inspection. Obviously, it's an aircraft, and we click next. All right, the facility 796 automatically populates it. Eric, when would you like to request this inspection date? This is just
my question is how does this actually work out? Do I need to be here on the call for it, or is it virtual?
No, you're going to have an inspector go to your aircraft and actually.
Okay, they are actually going to do a physical inspection then.
Yes, they have.
Actually, that's not correct. I think David Waller from Northern California is going to be doing virtual inspections.
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless
that's specific to aircraft then, because we have been doing in-person for boats, and they just opened up in-person for radios. Just last week, the Commodore called me and told me that. So if aircraft's different, that's why you have your own special session here.
Yeah, but the challenge is the lack of inspectors in Southern California. So we're using an inspector from Northern California to do it.
Okay, good. That was a question I actually had for you guys. For a boat, it just needs to be a VE, a vessel examiner. It doesn't need to have any special qualifications. For radios, it has to be an active CM guy, so an FSO or SOCM. And for HF radios, they need to have an HF facility themselves before they can inspect it. So for aircraft, there are obviously special, I guess it would be a qualification or a certain level of competency to be able to inspect the facility. Is that correct?
They prefer mechanics, A&P mechanics to be inspectors, but I think there are waivers for that, but at minimum they have to be command pilots.
Perfect. Okay, well, good. So it'll be virtual, but the process in AUXDATA 2, AUXDATA 2 could care less whether it's in person or not, right? The process is the same. So pick a date, Eric, where just to propose. Obviously,
let's see, what's next week is the 19th, so Monday, Wednesday. Let's do Thursday, the 22nd next week.
Okay, and again, this is a proposed requested. Once the inspection's actually completed, the inspector will fill out the inspection date. Okay, gotcha. So this is just a proposal. And who is the examiner?
Do we have to be present for the inspection?
For a virtual, I don't know. That's an aviation question because
for virtual, you'll have to coordinate with David Waller, which to answer your other question.
Okay, David Waller.
Clarify that. But I believe you have to be there in person, and then you're doing it virtually with David Waller.
Gotcha.
Okay, is it Christopher David Waller by chance?
I believe so. Gary, is that what you have?
Yes, it's Christopher.
Okay, good. All right, so David Waller is going to get an email once we save this, and it's going to be requesting an inspection for this facility on this date. Okay. Status right now is new, and okay, these are different fields. DSO of aviation, well, that's easy. David Powell. And the DIROCS, it's not Leslie Pelosi. First of all, Leslie Pelosi no longer works in the office, but even before, it wasn't her. It's the OTO, okay? Robert F. DeVoy. This gets messed up often, and it'll never go anywhere if you put the wrong DIROCS in. So, by the way, the OTO is leaving in June, so that particular name is only good for another couple of months. All right. So we have the facility, we have a requested inspection date, we have the flight examiner, the DSO of aviation, and we have the DIROCS. So we're going to save this. Okay. Now, if we just leave it here with status of new, it's not going to go anywhere, right? So we're going to go into the facility inspection page, and the way you do that is you can see here now, instead of just one, the approved one, now we have facility inspections 2, and this is the new one, which is 24157. Eric, you might want to write that down, especially since you can't get into the system today. In case Mr. Waller gives you a call, you can let him know. But he should get the email with this reference number as well, FI-24157. So that's the hyperlink to the facility inspection. And now you always know what page you're looking at by looking on the upper left. So facility inspection, and there it is, 24157. All the information that you filled out is correct. Don't get confused by created by or modified by, or in some records in AUXDATA, you'll see owner of. And what that means is who created this actual record. It has nothing to do with the owner of a facility. That's often confused. Same thing applies when you're entering your own time, your own missions for anything, for a 7029 or, excuse me, anything you do. The owner of the record is not who the mission is being applied to. That's a member assignment thing. Different deal. Okay, so we are gonna, Eric, what you'll do when you have access is you're gonna fill out the 7005 form, paper version. Okay, you can get this through, I can send you a link to it, but it's also on the district website, or if you've ever been to the forms warehouse for the auxiliary, it's a 7005. That's your offer for use for aviation.
Now, didn't I already fill one out if I'm already in a facility?
Yeah, but you have to do it every time.
Oh, okay.
So this is a new one. Up in the upper right of the page, it says whether it's an initial OFU or a reinspection or a change. As I said before, you can't, once it's a facility, you can't change or edit the data, the information about that facility yourself. So you would, in all cases, you'll be filling out a 7005. The difference is, instead of mailing it in, now you're going to drop it into this files dialog box over here. And it's pretty easy, especially if you have it on your desktop. You literally just drag and drop it in here. So Eric, that's what you'll do. I recommend you do that before the, well, as part of the inspection. And then obviously the inspector is going to download it, fill out his part, signatures, etc., and then upload it.
And,
You'll also,
where did you say
ahead.
I'm getting the 7005 form?
You can go to it. It's an official auxiliary form. So it's in the
Okay.
forms warehouse. It's all, you can get to that via our district website or national sites, many different ways, but I'll send you a link after.
All right, thank you.
Also in this files, guys, is where you're going to put registration, whether it be a boat, aircraft, or radio. And you're going to put pictures. I'm assuming it's the same as a boat, where they would like some photos. For a boat, it's bow, stern, port, starboard. Aircraft, I don't know. But whatever the inspector wants or the OTO wants, this is where you're going to deposit everything in this files. Before it gets to the OTO's desk, here are the different statuses for this inspection: approved, not approved, under inspection, DSO of aviation review, DIROX review, and BCRTI. That's radio, BCRTI. So what we're going to do is change the status from new to under inspection. And the way we're going to do that, okay, is, let me just save this first of all. Okay. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. You'd think that you'd be able to edit it right here, but the way the system likes it to happen, now they've put a disclaimer out there that they change the system every 2 weeks. They do what's called a sprint, and they upgrade the software, and some things that we request sometimes get in, sometimes they don't. So the process can change. But right now, you see, you have to click. It's a little awkward. You see the little down caret here next to clone?
Yeah.
You click the down arrow and you're going to see a submit for approval. Okay. That's the way you have to get this facility inspection basically to the inspector. Okay. I'm going to click that now because this is real. And comments are optional. I'm just going to reiterate what we know. Request virtual inspection 422. obviously that can be edited. Now the key here, and this is what you want to look for, is that your status for the inspection now has changed to under inspection. That means it's on Christopher David Waller's desk, so to speak, virtual desk. Okay. As far as you, Eric, as the owner and AUXDATA 2, the only other thing you'll do in here, like I said, is upload files.
Gotcha.
You can recall it. You notice how I have a recall button here, but you cannot obviously approve your own
Yeah.
facility inspection. So the only, and I couldn't, even if I technically could, I wouldn't be able to in the system, because the only person that's going to see an approve button here is going to be, in this case, Christopher Waller, unless it's reassigned to a different aviation inspector. Is that clear to everyone? I want to make sure that, because a lot of the boat and or radio facilities have, the process has gotten blocked because people don't understand or don't know that under inspection has put it on the, in this case, flight examiner's virtual desk. And he or she has to log into AUXDATA 2 in their own account to be able to approve. And they're not approving, obviously, the facility overall, but they're approving the inspection that they're going to do or disapprove. Is that totally, hopefully clear? Yes? Okay. So that's it. That's it for the owner. Again, when Christopher Waller logs in, and he will go to this facility inspection page, it's going to be up to him to fill in what the actual inspection date was. It's going to be up to him to make sure that all the files required, the 705, any photos and any registration information, whatever else they want, is filled in. Okay, and then he is going to approve or disapprove his part of the inspection. Then that's going to change it to, for a boat, it goes right to DIROC's review. And I'm thinking in this case, it's going to go to DSO of Aviation review. Not having done one of these before, but David Powell, is that your understanding? When it goes from the flight examiner, it's going to go to DSO of Aviation review.
Yes, so that's affirmative.
Okay, roger that. So then that's what the inspector is going to want to see. When he approves it, he's going to want to make sure that this status changes from under inspection to DSO of Aviation review. And then David, you're gonna go to this same page on your account, and it'll be your approval that moves it to DIROC's review.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's how the process works, guys. Any questions on that, on this part of the process? No. Okay, so I'm going to leave this as is. It's under inspection. Eric, as soon as you get your account, you can go in and check this out. But the next step again is going to be uploading files and working with David Waller for your virtual inspection.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, if the reason that I got that, you see that red banner there, is I cannot edit this anymore because it's basically out of my hands now, and it's in Christopher Waller's hands. So he's going to be the only one that can work with it. Now, if this was a brand new offer for use, what you do for any kind of facilities is you're going to go to the more button, and you're going to go to facilities, not facility inspections, but actual, well, here it is right here, facilities. So you'll click facilities. By the way, guys, again, I don't know how familiar you guys are or are not with AUXDATA 2 in general, but these are called lists. All the any of these tabs, member, units, activity logs, etc., they default to a recently viewed list is the one it defaults to. Anything that's pinned is going to be your default. So, for example, for members, typically I have my flotilla membership list, and if I pin it, that's the one that's going to be my default page now. Okay. Same thing with any of these, what they call objects at the top. You're going to have a default list, typically recently viewed. People get confused all the time, and they go, "Well, I don't see what I'm looking for. All I see is a few recently viewed," and that's because that's really all recently viewed is. I mean, it sounds simple and like a no-brainer, but people do get confused. So with facilities right now, recently viewed, I've also set up custom lists, And you can do that for any of these, like for example, D11S operational facilities. Now you'll see them all. Here I've got the aircraft up at the top, but they're all non-operational. So we're going to be working on that. That's the reason for this. Okay, so anyway, for a brand new offer for use, the new button right here, new, click new. Obviously for this case, in this case, we're going to do an aircraft, and we click next. And now you basically have the electronic 7005 to fill out. Again, you're going to need the paper version 2. Recommend you have it all filled out before you even come to this page. And then the foot stomper is when you fill out a new offer for use, because once it's in the system, you cannot edit it anymore. Try not to take any shortcuts and fill out absolutely every single solitary bit of information that you can right here on this page before you click the save button. Once you click save, you can't go back, okay, and edit it. So you'd have to submit this change form to Dirox and they'll do it. All right. Any questions on that? Okay. So that's what you'll do. You'll fill it all out. You'll click save, and then you're going to go. You'll be on a facility page. Let's go to. This must be one of the Davids. I mean, one of the, yeah, David Lincoln. Here we go. So this is David Powell. You're going to do a brand new OFU, and David Lincoln on the call. You're going to be doing a reinspection, it looks like, at some point.
Exactly.
Okay. So for David Powell, once you filled out that OFU that I just showed you and you click save, you're going to be on this page for and it'll assign you a unique F number or facility number for your aircraft. Okay. So once you get that far, it doesn't matter whether it's a reinspection or the first inspection, you'll be on this page and you'll complete the process the same way we did for Eric's in the beginning with this new button over here under facility inspections.
Got it.
Okay. All right. That's all there is to the process. I'm personally glad that I got to do this with you guys, Aviation, because there are differences, and I learned myself today. With the aviation side, it's a little different. Radio is a little different. Boat's pretty simple. Vehicles, by the way, if you're like going to be towing coastie or something, is super simple. You don't even have an inspection. You just basically offer for use and give the DMV, and you're good. Okay, how are we doing on time? Right at 9:30. Did Gary, do you have to bail, or are you gonna hang on until?
I'm still good. I'm still good.
Okay. Okay. So first, any questions on facilities, facility inspections, facility management?
David Lincoln has a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Question is there a limit to the number of files that you can upload?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, all right, very well, thank you.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, I've thrown some pretty large like photo files and stuff in there, and it doesn't seem to. There are a lot of improvements with AUXDATA 2 over legacy. I mean, a lot. We're still working through a lot of quirks and bugs. Needless to say, it's still new, even though it's a year old now. It's still relatively new, but it's 20 years newer, and things like file uploads work really, really well, really well. Okay. The next thing you guys are going to want to do when you have an operational facility, of course, is going to be go on a patrol, right? So how do you request patrols? I assume you guys want to know how to do that. All right. This process changed just about a month ago. It used to go to requests and request it that way, but now it's more the way it should have been in the beginning. You're going to go to the patrol orders object or tab. Okay. Click on patrol orders. And obviously you're going to click new. You're going to click new, and they still have this kind of messed up. You think, well, it's new and patrol order, but if you can read the writing there, this option is for system admins only. Why they have it there, I don't know, but it's request. The button that it defaults to is the one you want. This option default used to initiate a patrol request. We're not going to go through the whole process because we're not in sandbox. We're in actual production right here, but we'll click next just to show you the facility. If you initiate this from your facility page, which you can do, it'll default to your facility. If not, you can just type in the F number there. All right, or registration, it'll find it. All the red asterisk stuff is required before it'll let you save. But other things you would put in here too, like if the operator, the first pilot or commander is going to be different from the actual aircraft owner. Patrol date, patrol time, etc. So this part is similar to AOM, the old AOM, if you're familiar with that, or requested orders in the past. This is how we do it now. And once you fill this request out and save it, it goes straight to the OIA. Okay, straight to the OIA. When the OIA looks at it and approves it, you'll get an email right away. As soon as he clicks approved, boom, you'll get an email, and then you will have an actual. I'm going to click out of this. This is how you request the patrol. Once you have a patrol, here's a patrol order from last December. Well, I actually canceled. Let me see if I can use a better example here. 22, 4, 11, yeah. Okay. So this is one Gary Nelson did. It's for a boat, but this part of it is the same, whether it's doesn't matter what kind of facility it is, whether it's an aircraft, a boat, or a radio for that matter. You're going to have all the information here is basically just going to be transferred over. And the difference is how you put your crew in. Once you have an approved patrol order, by the way, you can go ahead and put you'll have this page, and you always know what page you're on, again, by the upper left. In this case, it's a PO, patrol order. And that one assigned to you, once it's approved, you'll have that number and you'll have this page. And this is where you'll enter your crew. And you notice if I hyperlink over the crew number, this is where you put meals in. I don't know if you guys do that. Boat guys do this. So this is where you'll add crew and put their position, etc. The activities is where you're going to enter what old AOM used to call the itinerary. Okay. So for a boat, in this case, Gary did 01D, that's the brief, the pre-underway, and then the brief, and then the actual mission that he did underway, and then the debrief. Okay, and you can obviously have multiple missions. You may see 7, 8, 9 different activities, all for the same patrol. That's fine. Mission start, mission end, but you enter these. I'll click on new just to show you. You'll enter these, in this case, it's a boat, but obviously you'd be selecting aircraft. You enter the activities, and this page should look familiar to anyone that's entered any time for anything in AUXDATA 2. It's this exact same page, okay? And you'll fill out for each itinerary item in AUXDATA 2. And for each itinerary item, you have to add your crew. That's kind of a pain. Clone feature is not working right now. So for each of these, I just clicked on his initial 01D, his brief, okay, pre-underway as a summary of activities. And he's got to go to add member and add his crew for each of those activities.
Almost done.
Okay, is that clear? Especially for the Davids and Gary, because you'll be teaching people how to do this.
Yeah.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Very good. So that's what you'll do. You'll put in files. This is super easy. You just upload your fuel receipt or any other documents that you want associated with this patrol. And then you're going to scroll on down, and just like you did in AOM, you're put in any expenses you had to match those receipts. And it's really easy to click and sign now, both as operator and claimant. The last step in the process is changing the status. You'll be changing it from approved to completed. I'll click on this so I can show you, because this is confused sometimes too. You might think it's submitted, but that is what the OIA uses when he submits to the finance center, to FinCEN. Okay, you will click canceled if you did cancel the patrol before you went. But in most cases, in all cases, if you've done the patrol, you're going to be, once it's all completely filled out, completely signed, all the files are uploaded, all the activities are in there, the crew, everything's ready to go. you're going to click completed to send it to the OIA. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, guys. You got me for anything AUXDATA 2 related at all, or aviation specific or not. Go ahead and ask away if anything wasn't clear for sure, or if you have any other questions on anything else.
Just one other quick question, Chris. Under
Yes.
the facility, if I look at my personal facility under other equipment, I had a bunch of new avionics installed. Did you say that's something I can or cannot update as a pilot?
Yeah, right now, the way the system is once it's an accepted facility, it locks it out from the owner of the facility or anybody other than DIROC's level going in and making changes. But let's take a look at your facility. Do you know the registration number, or I can do it by your name? Or
Yes, November 8-2 Charlie Golf.
there we go. November 8-2 Charlie Golf. It's a Mooney. You go fast. 242. I flew Hornets, by the way, guys. F-18s in the Navy, off the Midway. So that shows me how old I am because it's in a museum now. But yeah, and then I flew for American Airlines for 25 years. Now awesome. I went from 35,000 feet down to sea level, 500 knots down to about 10, and I'm happy. Anyway, okay, we're looking at your facility page, David, and you wanted to add the avionics. So you've got a bunch of nav aids here. Anything 6+, you're going to click view all, and then you would click new, and you'll click type, and you will attempt to put this in. I encourage you to try it. Who knows? Some things are different with aircraft versus boats, and maybe it'll let you do it. If it doesn't, if it says insufficient rights, you get an error message, then yes, you're going to have to put it down. You can email DIROCs, basically either use the shared mailbox is the way to do it, because that'll end up on Shakespeare's desk one way or another.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, it says other equipment. I am not able to update that myself. I'd have to go through DIROCs.
Did you just try?
No, but under aircraft information, other equipment, I see that on the left. It just scrolled down there under 4 seats. It says other equipment.
Oh, yes.
So I guess I could try that and see if I could save it.
Yeah, try it. Now,
okay.
And what was the other equipment that you added?
Radar altimeter.
I would put that under even though it's a navigational aid. Yeah, I would put it under the radalt under nav aids here, because this, if you do any of these little eye information buttons, it'll give you more information. And this says indicate any special equipment such as life raft, scuba gear, etc. So radar altimeter, I would definitely put over here under nav aids, and you'd click new and do it that way.
Okay.
They may even have. Let's see if they even have it's pretty limited, yeah. So maybe you would have to, yeah, I see your point. Maybe if they don't have it here on the pick list, then I guess you'd have to put it here. That's great. You have a radar altimeter. That's awesome.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Yeah, so you'll have to submit the change form. And you can do that as part of your reinspection, or you can do it if it's in between inspections. Obviously, you can do it, as it occurs, just like the old system, really, in that respect. Raul, do you have any questions, sir? We can stay on after. We can do some IS specific. Raul, guys, is a new IS officer, among other things, and so he's joining for his training.
I don't have anything specific right now. I would like to hang on and talk to you after the aviation is over.
Sure, by all means.
This is David Powell. I do have one question.
Yes, go ahead, David.
So if you have a co-owner on an aircraft, how do you set that up when you're setting up your facility?
Okay, see facility ownership here. David C. Lincoln is the owner. If there's a co-owner, you're going to click new. And you're going to click, in this case, a member. It's not a unit. And then you're going to select the number, and it'll give you the option to, or select the member, excuse me. It'll give you the option to, let me see if I can do it. Yeah. Ownership type, it'll be co-owner in that case. That's how you do that.
Okay. And the co-owner is not an auxiliary member.
Oh, okay. Well, then you put that information in. It gives you the opportunity or the ability to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
This brings up a point. We're looking at your facility. It was approved and it's been operational in the past. It's just out of inspection. And notice there are no files here. The files that Shakespeare had paper copies of everything in the DIROC's office, they didn't transfer over because they were never like digitally scanned and entered into the old AUXDATA records. So it's a big job, but what DIROC's wants is all the facilities to have the actual information like registration, etc., under the facility records. There's hundreds that are missing it. So I'm just mentioning that to you. The way to take care of it, the easiest way to take care of it is, when you're doing your facility reinspection, is make sure that the files are not just in the facility page, like the facility inspection page here. This is where you're going to put it, the 7005 and everything for the inspection, but you're going to want to cut and paste or drag and drop into the facility record itself, if it'll let you do that, and it should. Okay, just to sort of clean it up and have that information there without having to go into the actual facility inspection to see the records. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, guys. 9:45. Any more questions, aviation stuff?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna stop share.